I'm selling my house. Scene 1, take 14. Soft sticks.
Okay, so there's obviously a lot that I'd like to say. But if you'll bear with me for a second, I would briefly like to talk about the Odyssey, which I think will help me better tell my story. Now, it's one of the greatest works of Western literature ever, right? But what makes it so great? Well, there's danger, and there are magical creatures, and there are battles with the gods. But if you ask me, there is something so beautiful about Odysseus' mission. You know, he's not going out to conquer the world. He already won the war in the previous epic, the Iliad. No, the Odyssey is everything that happens after the war. It's just one man's long and complicated journey back home. Isn't that poignant? I find it so poetic, almost like a divine mission of sorts. You know, like, what if we looked at all of life through that lens? Amidst all of the confusion and the fear and the distractions that we carry with us, what if we are all just slowly making our way back home?
You look green like you've been to see eyes of men. Thought you'd find what it means, peace of mind. You can keep womankind in your dreams. You can keep running away from what is real and what is fake. You can keep running away from what is real.
Okay, so what am I doing talking about the Odyssey? I guess I just want to talk about the bigger picture. Why did I come out here for this whole adventure in the countryside? It was never about this house. It was about demystifying a fantasy and then redirecting back north. You think Odysseus had any idea what he was getting himself into? In a single act of complete arrogance, he angered the gods and then got himself cursed and found himself in a decade-long debacle.
Sinking low as you speak, I'm not surprised.
Okay, so what am I doing out here? Well, what was Odysseus doing in the Odyssey? What is anyone doing anywhere? We are blinded by our ideas, by our attachments, by the glamour, by the things we think will save us. That is what Calypso was all about. That's why Odysseus had to hear the siren call for himself. But that's also what makes life so beautiful. We get to play it out for ourselves and see for ourselves what is real and what is fake.
Will you stop running away from what is real and what is fake?
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed making it. Being completely honest, I have been quite nervous to make this video. I had trouble falling asleep last night thinking about shooting this portion of the video, just because I think that there's a fear of being misunderstood for how I'm living my life, you know? But I know that I live an unconventional life, and I know that it can look very sort of confusing from the outside. So yes, I am indeed selling my house, and Boy, has there been heartache on the way to making that decision. It has been a journey. The whole ethos of this channel has been, I go out, I live life the best way I know how, and then I come back and I report back. If it looks like I had some kind of plan ahead of time to buy an old house, fix it up, and then flip it, and that's how I'm gonna make a lot of money, trust me, that was not the plan. And after everything that I have experienced doing this, I think it is a terrible way to make money, if you make any money at all. Okay, so why then? Why did I do this? To answer that, I have got to first lay out my philosophy on life, because that is what informs all of my decisions. Whether you read the teachings of Christ, the Buddha, the stuff the Sufis were talking about, the Tao Te Ching, and I'm just naming 4, at the heart of each of those beautiful spiritual traditions, it feels like they're all pointing towards the same thing. From different angles, they go about it in different ways. It always feels like it goes back to going beyond the myopia of your ego and seeing beyond yourself into the true nature of life, of consciousness, of reality. I yearn to see clearly like that, to move beyond my fear, my rigidity, my hang-ups, to walk down the same path these great teachers walk down. And that's why I find myself so often experimenting, trying things out. I just have this gnawing curiosity. However, this is a very messy process. It's very disruptive. So how do I get past all of these limiting ideas, these judgments, these expectations I have about life? The kind of superficial cartoon answer to this question is this idea I think we all have, which is, oh, you just renounce everything, you become a monk, you go to an ashram, or you like move to the Himalayas or something, and you meditate all day. And I have found that the answer that makes sense to me where I'm at in my life is actually the opposite. And that is to, counterintuitively, drink deeply from the cup of life. If you want something, chase it. Chase it down, chase it as hard as you can. Chase the things that you think will make you happy. Bring as much awareness, like pay attention throughout the entire process. Because by doing that, you begin to demystify your ideas and fantasies and projections and eventually see beyond them. This is how I am spending my life. If you've been following my journey online, you have seen this over the last decade. Whoa. But as I acquire the things that I am chasing, I'm also realizing that these things are not what I thought they were. Because of course not. Because I had an idea in my head, and of course that idea never actually matches reality. Because it was an idea in my head. But it is only then when you realize those things aren't what you thought they were, that your relationship with them can change. In my case, I just keep discovering all of the things I don't necessarily need to be happy. Okay, so the house. A little over 2 years ago, I started to feel intensely pulled to the countryside. Owning a house in our culture has got to be one of the most romanticized things there is. And I was also curious about the quiet, about the space. I wanted to see it for myself. I wanted to live it for myself. I had the means to buy, and on top of it, after meditating on it a lot, my intuition said, yeah, go for it. And I think that's the most important piece of all. If you feel pulled by something, do not ignore what your heart says. As like a big rule for me. I think there are many, 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 many moments like this in life where to do anything really, you have to take a leap into the unknown. So there's this quote, basically, that I wanted to share with you from a guy you may know called Vincent Van Gogh. I am always doing what I can't do yet in order to learn how to do it. So all these ideas are floating around in my head when 2 years ago, I visited a man by the name of Martijn Dollard, a Dutchman living in the Alps, fixing up these beautiful stone cottages. I made a video about it. Maybe you saw it already. That guy is so impressive. He is really doing it. It's off-grid. Now, it was during this visit that the first cracks in my romantic vision began to appear. Obviously, his place is very different from mine. It's much more rugged, but he's also a far more rugged individual than I am. I don't think you needed me to say that to figure that out, but still. Being on his property, I realized, like, wow, you really have to work at this on an ongoing basis. Like, that guy works really fucking hard.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
You have to love it, and it's clear he loves it. He loves what he's doing. He is most definitely not faking what he's doing. But there's a real gap between the fantasy, like the beautiful, romantic, relaxing videos he puts out, and the reality, how much work it is, how intense it is. And that's not even his fault, It's more like you cannot really understand it until you're there and you're experiencing it. He had an asthma attack after cutting the grass and still got bitten by fleas years into living there. And I don't think he minds it. Like, I think that's just part of the gig for him. But I'm hearing this and going like, whoa. I guess I started to scratch my head and wonder, like, do I have the chops? It's one thing to be able to do it. It's another thing to want to do it. Like, I genuinely did not have the answers. I was just about to find out. Before I go into the untold story, if you will, of my time in the house, when I finally got the keys all the way up to now, I want to linger on this point about social media for a second. Social media is really fascinating. So much has been said about it. It has its goods and its evils. Sure, cottagecore has gotten popular in recent years on social media, this idea of the romantic life in the countryside. But humans did plenty of this before social media was around. We are an imaginative species. This is just what we do. I think the point I want to make is kind of a nuanced one, which is that you have to feed into it for it to become something in your mind. There is so much incredible stuff happening on the internet, and it does inspire me sometimes when I find a little nugget of gold. But I do think it's just so important to put your phone down and go test out your hypotheses. Go live life. I created a fantasy and I needed to play it out. I really think this is just so important for us not to lose sight of in our increasingly technological world. And so I started using this app called Opal. This is an app I think pretty much everybody should download, honestly. Certainly anybody that feels they spend too much time on social media or any other addictive app. Opal are sponsoring this video, which I am thrilled about because I use it every day, and I'd recommend to anybody. And the premise is very simple. It's an app that blocks apps that you want to limit your time on. So I have it set to not allow me to go on Instagram, for example, at all during the evening, which is consistently when I have the lowest amount of willpower and am the most likely to fall down a rabbit hole scrolling. It introduces friction that your phone is designed to remove. And I think friction is really good because it helps to take a moment to be like, do I actually even want to be here doing this? You know what I mean? It's just easy to fall into passive consumption. I just find it to be really well designed. I think it's helpful to maintaining a degree of balance. I don't think it's bad to spend time on social media, to get inspired, but in moderation. And then you have to put your phone down and go live. So if you're interested in checking it out, I'll leave a link in the description below. Thank you, Opal, for sponsoring this video. And now, the part of the story I couldn't tell until now. A few months after my time with Martijn, I finally got the keys to my house. I found myself in the house alone, and it was gigantic, empty, and dirty. And I was like, wow, this is very different from when I first visited it or when I made the offer. But I said to myself, it will feel completely different once it's all set up. I've got to just put the time and effort and energy and resources in, and we will eventually get there, which was true. Except I didn't realize just how much would have to go in to get there, because that whole first winter was constantly discovering new surprises. Again, hindsight, you could say I was naive, I should have done more inspections, but I literally just didn't even have the brain to see things that way, to understand what goes into homeownership. I also think that homeownership in general is loaded with surprises. It's just part of the gig, a pipe bursts, a tree falls during a storm, the roof needs cleaning, something broke while something else was being fixed. One thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And then all of a sudden I find myself just dumping an endless stream of money and also energy into this project, which is leading to constant interruptions, a constant flow of Frenchmen running through the house, fixing shit that I don't know how to do. And the stress too, with every decision, because you don't want to get the decision wrong. So it's sort of like, okay, that's going to be 2,000 euros. Like, yes or no? And you're like, ah. And from there, I was furnishing the house. I was buying tools to fix things up. It actually just becomes all encompassing. There are so many other things that come with the house that you need to make the house functional. I am not saying any of this so that you feel bad for me. Something inside of me was pulled to have this experience. This is all obviously only possible due to the privilege and the resources that I do have. But what I am trying to convey here is that bit by bit, you go further and further and further and further away from the original fantasy. At a certain point, you kind of go, how did I end up here again? Like, what happened? You know, I didn't think of any of this stuff going into this. And that's why I invoked the Odyssey. I think there's something about how Greek stories go off the rails all the time that makes him feel relatable, even though it's about magical monsters. It's not like Odysseus had any idea what he was getting himself into. My point is that it's all clear and easy to understand in hindsight, but that the process is anything but straightforward as you're going through it. Anyway, back to the house. I kept holding out on making a decision about this because I wanted to see, like, you know, maybe my feelings will change, right, as we go further into the process. And they never did. I had a lot of amazing, beautiful moments, but on a meta level, it was just not clicking. In fact, as I got further into the project, a new series of realizations sort of dawned on me. I started to think to myself for the very first time, I don't even know if I care about having this place at all. I'm not sure I even care about owning property. You know, even with every single little thing fixed up, I don't know if I want to be here. I don't know if I need this amount of space. It's really beautiful. I mean, it has some real moments of magic. It's nice to have a private sauna. It's gorgeous when it's lit up at night. But do I need to own this? I don't know if I need to own it. Because owning anything, brings with it a certain level of weight and responsibility. Just because I can doesn't mean I want to. And I do think I just had to go through this process to acquire this amount of stuff to realize I don't really want this amount of stuff. And yeah, look, I'm just a dude without a family, without a partner even. And the calculation dramatically shifts when you have kids, which I'd like to at some point in my life, I think. I guess I'll revisit this when I get there. And also, I think I'd go about it differently. And so in that way, life in the countryside, life owning a home like this, it was demystified. The romance kind of wasn't there anymore. I could see beyond it. And by the way, I'm not saying these things aren't great. They can be fantastic. It can be sublime, honestly. Depends on who you are, depends on what you want. I just found that this isn't quite the right fit for me. Certainly not this massive, you know? It's a huge house. It's like gigantic. Mind you, it's a huge privilege. I'm really proud of what I've done with it. You know, when I came to the realization a year ago that I need to let this place go, I also knew I couldn't just drop it then. I knew that I had to see this all the way through. I needed to complete it, no shortcuts, and to be able to walk away with my head held high. That's just who I am. The funny thing, if we can say it that way, is that obviously if I loved living there, I wouldn't be selling it, right? And that is an important detail I'm not trying to skip over. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. There was a lot of questioning. I felt very lost, you know? I felt very, very lost on many occasions. That is the messy part of this story that I cannot skip over. I mean, this was very challenging, and fixing it up when I didn't even want the place anymore was... There were moments where I felt quite lonely. But I feel I have completed the work I needed to do here. I feel I am leaving it far more beautiful than when I arrived, and I'm leaving with all kinds of new clarity on things I couldn't have even conceived of. So yeah, like I didn't get what I wanted in one respect, but in many, many ways, the house actually gave me so much more. It's just not what I expected and not what I thought I'd get. It helped me learn so much about myself and to develop my spiritual life. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I wouldn't be who I am today without this chapter. Now I can see that I just love to travel through life more lightly. It's beautiful, I have to say. It is a beautiful feeling to not want this anymore. I know that's not something you sort of hear often, but it is just so beautiful to have that freedom, to let it go. I feel a huge weight lifted. I really do. And there's this really cool line in chapter 48 of the Tao Te Ching. In pursuit of learning, every day something is acquired. In pursuit of the Tao, every day something is dropped. So good. I love that. It helps to look at all of this with a degree of humor, to laugh at the crazy situations I find myself in. Okay, guys, so where do we go from here? Well, I do really want to take a moment to thank the boys, Mathieu, Nico, and Manu, for helping me record the instrumental to the Geese song, Islands of Men. That was an absolute blast. And I have to give an even more massive thank you to my dear friend, Bartholomew. First of all, he's the lead singer of the group that they all make up together called Mandelbro. He helped produce the song. Been here for about 8-9 hours. He helped coach me with the vocals.
Can I suggest one thing there?
Yeah.
What is fake?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
wait, like put it way.
Yes.
Put
yes.
it. Take your time. You know?
Yes.
What is fake?
Yeah. That's good. And as if that wasn't enough already, he was the cameraman for the music video. And by the way, I also have to thank my dad, who helped avoid disaster. He did slate and he helped Bart not fall over and like break an arm or something. So big thank you to my dad as well. And I highly, highly recommend checking out Mandelbro's music. I think it was therapeutic to make the music video that helps cap off this chapter.
What is fake?
Yeah, yes, that's a reference right there. And what is fake? And like I said, it helps kickstart a new series I'm calling the Parabasis. Basically, it's a word from Aristophanes, who was an ancient Greek playwright who wrote comedies. And the Parabasis would be this moment in the play where the main characters would leave the stage and the Greek chorus would directly address the audience. It's almost like a transitional moment. And that is where I feel like I'm at right now. I am letting go of a lot right now. I feel like I'm in a big sort of deconstruction phase. I'm in between chapters of my life. Instead of waiting around, waiting for things to start up again and to feel like I have clarity for what is coming, I feel like there's actually a lot of juicy material in capturing this scary, uncomfortable, unclear transitional phase. So, as always, thank you from the bottom of my heart for following along, for watching these videos, for making all of this possible, because it wouldn't be without the internet, without you guys watching, without a funny website called YouTube. And so if you want to follow along, consider liking this video. It helps in the algorithms, and I think I show up more reliably in your feed in the future if you do that. Or subscribe, or you can follow me on Instagram or my Substack. The Substack's a good one too, because that's algorithm free. I just show up in your inbox. The journey continues. The journey continues. Thanks for watching.